love, y'all, because we're together.
Welcome back to Constructive Talks, everyone.
Under one roof. Come
I
on.
have the
In a house.
honor
House
to have
sound.
Mr. Wright on the phone with
One
me,
love, y'all.
and that's my son. And he had a couple questions about the episode of Sleeping with a Snake. And one of the questions he had was, how do I avoid the snake? Is that correct, son?
Yes, sir.
How do I avoid the snake? Wow. You know, and what we do here at Constructive Talks, we always try to have a positive point of view on every question or every idea or consideration. So let me throw this out there. How do we avoid the snake? I think when we talk about a snake, we think about what we've been conditioned to believe. You know, a snake is an animal that crawls on its belly, always looking to come bite somebody and leave their venom and leave the person, their victim, sickly or dying or in pain. And we've kind of related that to people, how people act, and kind of identified people as snakes. So when they do something negative to us or something that's not good. So what if we considered, instead of a snake being a person or something that may be a negative event, what if we said, hey, you know, let's say that snake is things within us that we can't avoid, that we are not conditioned to be able to identify it and either avoid that event or make the event have a better outcome, a more positive event. So let's say the snake is an event. Let's say that. So that way we take people out of it. And usually when we handle events, it's based on our experience, what we've been conditioned to believe, or from just living, you know, externally with people around us and in the workplace, at home, or out in the streets in society, right? We run into all kind of things. So let's say that snake is an event that if we can't see it coming, it'll be a negative outcome. Or an outcome that doesn't benefit us to help us with accomplish things in our life. What do you think, Mr. Wright? Does that sound kind of okay?
Oh yeah, I like that. So then it'll be applicable to more than just other people.
Yes. So what was your question on how do we avoid the snake? What were you thinking?
Oh yeah, so I like the podcast. It definitely there were definitely a lot of gems in it. But it was something to where I was thinking, okay, I think everybody can identify, even if it's sometimes later than they would like, they can identify what a snake is, whether it's an event or a person. But it just made me wonder about, okay, so I'd love to hear two experienced men and how they handled with not just when they came across snakes, but what did they learn learn or do to avoid snakes thereafter.
Okay. I think I have one event that kind of shaped me when I was a young soldier in the military, where you know how the military is like, hey, battle buddies, bond, always be there for each other. And I kind of developed a friendship, and that friendship was bonding. Went to combat together. Um, I would say I probably had to carry most of the load of the friendship because I was just a go-getter, and I was knowledgeable, and I wasn't afraid to step out and take risk to make myself better. So I kind of carried, some folks in life, just like life, they'll latch on to that and help them in their things they want to do in life, without giving a lot of effort to the individual or situation that's feeding them. And part of that friendship was, friendships can take a lot of hours. They can take hours, sacrifice, They can take doing without. They can take mental strain, but also they can be very fun and rewarding and liberating and eventful and put smiles on your heart. But one thing happened in that friendship, as identified by a title, is they kind of turned their back on me unknowingly, and in a situation that didn't even call for it to risk a friendship, so-called friendship. And I was shocked by that. I was like, man, made me call my mama. I'm totally transparent. It made me call my mom. And my mom said, boy, at least you know. Now you know, so hey, let's go. And, my mom, she always had a way to lift me up. And I would say that may be a snake event right there. How do we avoid that? And sometimes it's difficult to see it coming, right? No matter how much experience we have or what we know, it's difficult. But I took that, Mr. Wright, and created a positive perspective and code in my life was minimize friendships. Make sure they're quality. Don't automatically befriend. And that's helped me in a positive manner throughout my life. Probably saved me a lot of time as well. What about you? What kind of, snake event that you think you might have had that had a positive outcome for you? Just so everybody understand, Mr. Wright, he's gone to wonderful universities. He's learned law, and probably the best way, a young man can. He deep dove into it. And with that deep diving into his education and his commitment to success, of individual success, of knowing that he can accomplish anything, he was selected amongst a few people to join the military. They called him up and say, hey, we need your services because you are a beacon, not only in the law at your level. We think that you'll be above all your peers in a short time frame. And that's just a little backstory, everybody. I could keep going on and on. Dads kind of do that with sons, right? But, based on your life so far, mid-20s, what kind of snake event that you think that you've had, and how did you handle it?
I would probably say I've had a lot more than I would like to admit. I do say that how I handle them, those events or people have gotten a lot better over the years. We also appreciate the introduction, by the way, Pop. But I think I would probably say the very first snake situation I had that woke me up was, I was in high school, and I was dating this girl, and I was friends with this one guy, and friends with another dude too, and we were close. And me and this this other guy, we had both arrived to this new high school at the same time. So we became friends, and we were also both on the football team and everything. And I remember when we first both got there, apparently the little girl that he was dating was being unfaithful to him with our football team's quarterback. And our quarterback was, he was popular. He had a lot of friends at the school. He had already been at the school for a while. And I remember the new kid, we were both new kids. He was saying, hey, he had asked me, hey, if I, for whatever reason, I got in a fight with our quarterback, would you have my back? And I was like, yeah, I got your back. Hey, we're friends, and I think what he's doing is messed up. And I said, yeah, I got your back, no doubt. And then, fast forward, nothing ever happened between that. I think the girl he was dating ended up breaking up with him or something like that, so I didn't have to worry about that. But then, fast forward, I'm dating this girl, and one of my other friends, he had came up and told me that, the same guy that I had said I was going to have his back was apparently trying to talk to my girlfriend, and, he was trying to get her to cheat on me behind my back. And, for whatever reason, I'm young, et cetera. And, I don't ask any questions. For me, it was like, I said, dang, okay, huh. I would probably say it hurt my feelings more than anything else, because I was just thinking, man, I was gonna have your back, and if somebody tried to jump you, or if a fight broke out or whatever, I was gonna have your back and everything. And then you try and do the same thing to me that somebody else is doing to you. And it was that, and I was also, I think I was also hurt, because I was like, dang, my girlfriend don't even tell me, like, my best friend is trying to holler at you behind my back, and you don't even say nothing to me or nothing. So I just remember all I did, and also keep in mind, I took my other friend's word for it. I didn't ask my other friend any questions, and I asked him like questions like, hey, where'd you hear about this, blah 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 blah. But I just took his word for it, because I had trusted him. I had trusted him as well. So then I said, all right, cool. Well, hey, I appreciate you telling me that. Immediately after that conversation, I called my girlfriend and I broke up with her. I said, hey, you and I are done. Hung up, didn't ask any questions, nothing. And then I called, the guy that I had called my best friend as well, who was, allegedly trying to get with my girlfriend behind my back. I called him. I said, hey, as soon as we see each other, we're fighting. Hung up. Didn't say nothing else.
Okay. Self-induced. Okay.
So yeah, boom. Go to school. Boom, go to school. He wasn't in the gym, so I found out he was off the school grounds. So I said, all right, cool. Too easy. So went off school, fought, et cetera, blah blah blah. And then after him and I are done fighting, I think it was either that same day or maybe the next day or whatever. Then I said, what, let me ask some questions. And then
okay.
come to I said, I think I eventually said to him, I said, hey man, it wasn't cool that you was trying to go behind my back and trying to holler at my girl when I was gonna have your back when our quarterback was having your girl cheat on you. And then the first thing he told me was like, he said, I wasn't trying to talk to your girl at all. He said, who told you that? And then I said,
what?
I said, wait, what? He said, no, I wasn't trying to talk to your girl at all. And then I said, so-and-so told me otherwise. He said, nah. He said, no. He said, no, I was trying to talk to his girl. So what happened was my other friend, my best friend at the time, he was too afraid to fight the guy that I fought. So he basically lied to me, saying that he was trying to get with my girl when he was really trying to get with his girl. But he was too much of a coward to fight him himself. So he basically manipulated me into fighting him for him. So I know that was a long story, but
No, no,
that
no,
was
no.
basically a time and an event where I said, oh, okay, huh? You can't trust everybody.
Yeah, hey, that is definitely a multi-headed snake event. I would say, from that, so not trusting everybody, and that's kind of goes into what we talk about when we talk about the bubble as well. Is that when we give people titles and they hadn't officially earned those titles, and we're giving them titles based off cultural conditioning, saying, hey, if somebody do talk to you for a couple minutes, they're your friend. Or if somebody like ice cream like you like, they're your friend. It tends to be untested. That friendship is probably, well, no, I'd say it's untested, and things like this could happen. But like you said, the positive lesson learned after all of that, and you learned that, hey, I need to select the folks around me a little better, and I need to ask questions before I make a commitment to do something, right? So let me I'm gonna say this right here. Maybe we should call this High School Chronicles, because I'm quite sure every kid goes through some of this. And I remember that a little bit. And my main concern was like, hey, we've all, as young men in high school, if you hadn't had a little tussle here and there, and you hadn't really experienced high school, right? Or school period. And we've all had our tussles. So I didn't take it as anything, like, oh my God, what? That school is out of control. I'm just like, hey, okay. You good? You good? You said, yeah, I'm good, Dad. Okay, we keep moving. But some of the things that you mentioned was that your so-called friend, the title, used your talents to help his situation out because he wasn't willing to do it himself. So he manipulated you enough to get you to try to fight his battles with somebody that had no clue about what's going on. That's kind of like what goes on throughout life when we associate with people, right? People would latch on to somebody that has a skill and let that skill, like I mentioned earlier, propel them through their life, and they don't have to do any work. They just let the individual do all the work, And one of the things that we've run into is that, do me a favor, put your phone on mute for a second, son. One thing that we run into is that high school is the building block for us. School is the building block for society, and it's out of control. I'm not going to say that. It has a limited amount of control in it because they're not paying the educators enough. They're not really going by their processes and procedures. They pick and choose who they want to enforce those with. And most of it is like Starbucks leadership within a school and our coffee house leadership where, hey, everybody's got a job and nobody's trying to get into anything that's going to make their day worse or have them lose their job. So that's part of that. How do we avoid the snakes? And one of it is, like you said, know that a person is, how should I say? Know that a person is qualified to be your friend inside your bubble, in one of the layers of your bubble. You said something else, son. You just trusted people telling you stuff. And we do that once we give a person a title. Trusted agents. So they guide us, man. They guide us and say, hey, blah, 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 blah. And we just go with it, right? And not knowing this is not allowing us to avoid the snake situation. It's just kind of propelling it. And enlightenment. And you can unmute now. So enlightenment. The whole thing that we're talking about is being enlightened. So if I say that, what do you think? What do you think? What if you had a few words to say, what would allow you to avoid snake situations from this day forward? and I know you listen to the code, right? Other people's stuff. I know you listen to the code, and there was 7 items in that. Hey, everybody, you got to go back and look at the channel and find that video. And it is an amazing video to get everybody on code when selecting other people's stuff that they want to bring into their lives. So what do you think, son? What do you think, Mr. Wright, that this snake experience has helped you throughout your life and your path?
For me, a lot of it is just to, be slow to react and not just ask questions to the people or to the event that's a snake, but ask questions to yourself. And I think that's what's helped me a lot moving forward. I mean, I've had some other situations that have happened since that moment, and some more, I guess, severe or upsetting because it was done by people much closer to me. But I think it's just about being slow to react, asking questions of them, of yourself, of the situation, and just to accept it for what it is rather than what you hoped it would be.
Wow.
Or, wished it would be.
Wow, that says a lot, man. I tell you, wow, self-questioning in the midst of indecisiveness about it. And I say it could be anything, about any venture you're about to go into, any relationship you're about to start, just getting up in the morning, self-questioning. Hey, what am I going to do today? What do I have on the agenda for today? How am I going to approach it? And coming up with that little plan based off a personal code. I think you're 100% correct. And wow, you said some things there that I think people will be able to identify with and relate to. And Mr. Wright, you said something where I think it goes into the title part, where putting people where we would like them to be before they have identified that they have what it takes to be in that position. I know that was long, but everybody can't handle friendship and the responsibilities that come with it. And we have a tendency to automatically give them that responsibility and then expect them to excel in it. And sometimes I don't think that's fair to say, hey, you are my friend. And that person might have so many things going on or have no clue what it takes to be a friend. But we've given them that title and responsibility. It would be something like, hey, you a brain surgeon, and the only thing you ever dissected was a frog. Like, whoa, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I think that's why I had mentioned. That's why I had mentioned pausing, because I'm sure you can speak to this as my father, but growing up, and I mean, I still have the trait now, but now it's a lot more controlled or calculated. But growing up, I was an extremely decisive young man to a fault. And so I would make decisions immediately and commit to them, but I would commit to them 100%. And that also included relationships, friendships, etc. If I said, hey, I'm your friend, I meant it. I meant that I was going to be your friend through thick and thin, no matter what. Or if it was like, hey, you're my girlfriend, I meant that. Hey, I was going to be the best boyfriend I could be through thick and thin, no matter what. Even if you didn't like it. And I was so decisive into that I would commit to that even when the other person was doing things that they didn't deserve my friendship or my love. Um, so that's why, I had learned to pause from that moment and not necessarily be indecisive, but to just think before making certain decisions, or weighing the consequences before making certain decisions that are beyond just a simple reaction, that have more dire consequences.
Okay. Wow. That says that, and we have the same DNA, son, Mr. Wright. We have the same DNA because I don't like to go back and forth. I like to just get it done and over with, or get it done and maintain it. And growing up, I always looked at the positive, no matter what. That, hey, just give it time. And you're right. You self-identified just now. Yeah, when you committed to something, you committed to it, and based on how you understood it, research or not, and you moved with it, and you're correct. And it's just shaped you to understand, though. See, your DNA is commitment. Your DNA is loyalty. Your DNA is love. Your DNA is helping others, cherishing. That's in your DNA, and you just had to learn, through adolescence and all those hormones and stuff as you grew up and get a few experiences. You're learning, like we all are, how to hone those DNA traits and characteristics. Wonderful man, a wonderful person, a wonderful son, and anybody that comes within your space, at some point they got to say, man, you know what, this dude is pretty cool, just being himself. And I know this is not, us elevating each other. It's about, snake situations. But part of that snake situation is knowing that you're good, that you're okay. Somebody letting you know that, hey, the way you think and see is good. You're capable of being a friend. You're capable of being somebody's companion in their space. You're capable of handling that. So when they title you as something, you can handle it because you have those basic DNA traits that are unbending. They're unfailing because that's you, that's your inner person, and that's good. So keep that up, and it's definitely going to help with snake situations, how to avoid snakes. And snakes could be in your thoughts, right? Thoughts like, oh man, let me do this and that. It could be self-serving. It could be something where a person is not taking all the considerations they should, and they just do it. Boom, they might be creating a baby snake that's later on is going to be pretty big, like an anaconda or something that they weren't capable of dealing with. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. And I appreciate you, Pops. I think you're a good dude too. And it's loyalty and commitment is in short supply these days. So it just helps us stand out more from the crowd.
Okay. Well, everybody, did you have anything you want to close out with, Mr. Wright, to let the audience know?
Hey, I appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to these podcasts. You can always, whether you're going for a drive or going for a walk or doing the dishes or doing some chores, you can always just come to this channel, throw on a podcast episode and have it playing in the background, or throw some earbuds in or headphones on and, listen to it while you're getting stuff done, taking care of business. Just wanted to let you guys know that, you're in good hands when you listen to this podcast. My dad has experienced many, many things from different facets of life, and I'm sure you're getting a taste of that even more so when he's having the episodes with, my grandpa and, his dad. But, just to know that whether you're dealing with a snake person or a snake event right now, that whatever you're going through doesn't last forever. It will end, and all you can do is just keep moving forward until you overcome it, and to mentally prepare to overcome those events and those people over and over again, and it'll make you a better person at the end of the day. So, in a way, it can suck to run into those type of people and those type of events, but they're blessings at the end of the day, because you become a better man or a better woman at the end of the day.
Okay. Wow. So before I let you escape, now you have a company and a passion that you're creating. Could you let the audience know a little bit about that as you develop it and as you get ready to introduce it to the world soon?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I've slowly but surely developing it. It's called Be Someone Legendary, and it's just really all about what it's called, being someone legendary, and helping people create the type of mindset and lifestyle to be their most legendary self. Whatever legendary is defined, whatever they define it as, and to become that best version of themselves, so that when the time comes when it's our last days, we can always look back and say, hey, I became somebody legendary, and I'm happy with what I'm leaving on this earth.
Wonderful. So now everybody understand that, be someone legendary. And what that means, it's not a big haul. It's not like this big grandeur that we see every day. It's just building and actively participating in your life in a constructive manner, in order to build those around you up, support them, and also leave them things that they can reach back on to help guide them in the future. So please, as we do these podcasts, as Mr. Wright does his podcast, you'll be able to follow this journey that he's going to take us on, in being someone legendary. I appreciate your time, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I know this took a moment, but sometimes good things and quality things take a minute. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being amazing. That is very important. As we end this podcast today, I want to let each one of you know that not only are you incredible, but it's about you that constructive conversations happen.